don't let other people interfere with your dreams, and follow your passion.
If you have an idea, if you want something, ask for it. If you are looking for a job, tell everyone. You won't get anything without asking for it. Things don't just land on your table. Things are not just given to you. You have to ask. And don't be afraid to ask.
Radio Jaribuni, jamii yetu, sauti yetu.
Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaba mpenzi mpiku mtazamaji. Karibu kwenye kichupa chetu kinachokuwa kwa kasi na wengi wafuasi wasiokuwa na maasi wala wasiwasi. It's a wonderful day. We have host visitors from Switzerland and we will have a conversation with them to know more about them. Despite of that, they are partners. Let me not talk too much. Let them introduce themselves. Hello, Dominik and Emma. Welcome to Kenya.
Hello, everybody, and thanks a lot, Enrico and Alex, to invite us here to Radio Jaribuni. It's really a pleasure to be here. My name is Dominik. I was born and raised in Switzerland, and currently on a longer trip in Africa, and thereby also having the chance to visit this wonderful place in Marere College, where also Radio Jaribuni is part of. And so very much looking forward to the interaction and your questions. And I will head over to Emma.
Thank you, Dominik and Enrico. Pleasure to be here, as Dominik said. My name is Emma. I am Irish, from the island of Ireland in the west of Europe. I spent the last 10 years living in Switzerland, in Zurich, with my partner Dominik, who you've just met. And as he mentioned, we are on a longer trip in Africa, and at the moment enjoying Kenya and meeting lots of amazing and interesting people. Thank you.
Then the first question is, how is Kenya? You have arrived here. How is Kenya? How have you seen? There is many interesting people. There is many interesting like sports players.
Yeah, in fact, Kenya has been amazing so far. So it's our third country in Africa after Uganda and Rwanda. So we so far very much enjoyed Kenya. So we have been partially in the west of Lake Naivasha, for instance. We've seen Nakuru. Then also we made a quick stop in Nairobi, and then slowly headed over to the coast, which offers some amazing places, amazing sites. We really loved it. Had the chance then to spend a couple of days in Watamu on the beach, having some relaxing time as well. So also are quite lucky that for us at the moment are not so many tourists. So we had a lot of time and a lot of places almost to ourselves, which was very nice. But of course, fortunately also for Kenya, the tourists will increase now in the coming month. So that will bring additional opportunities for making some money and bringing some business to Kenya.
Yeah, we love Kenya. I think the people are really friendly in Kenya. I mean, everywhere we go, somebody says Jambo Jambo, on every street corner, in fact. And it's very easy to make contact and approach people. And I think that's very different to how life is in Europe. People tend to not be as approachable and easy to start a conversation with. So that has been really nice.
How do you balance your personal life from professional life?
You know, I see myself as the master of balancing my work life and my personal life. So although I loved my job and I really enjoy working, it's very important to me that I set boundaries and that I know when to stop working, when is the end of the workday, and I really have a clear cut. I don't work on weekends, and I try really to limit it to my working hours so that I can also focus on my personal life, my partner, my friends, my health, doing exercise, going out in nature, all of this. So I think having that clear cut and clear cut-off between work and personal life is very important for me. Dominik, how do you do it? You're not as good as me.
For me, I think it's a bit more difficult to have good work-life balance because I love working, and Also, like I've been working in corporate jobs, but also had a few side hustles as well. So, but I think like the key is as well to work that you're actually passionate and you like what you're doing, because then maybe work doesn't really seem as having to work, like having to get up in the morning and okay, you're already afraid of like going to the office, like. But if you enjoy working and you have a good environment to also develop yourself and to especially also learn stuff, then maybe work doesn't necessarily have to be seen as work, but it's just part of life, right? And it's something that you like doing. But of course, in the end, I think like everybody should have something else where he or she can look forward to, like a hobby or like some balance. For instance, like going into nature to just refreshing your mind and get different perspectives and different ideas. That for sure doesn't harm anybody, and you should at least have like a few other things than work that you can look forward to, which I also try. Sometimes it goes better, sometimes it's not as easy.
How do you manage to work with Ugandans and you are living in Switzerland?
A while ago we took the decision to leave our jobs in Switzerland, to fully leave, make a cut, to actually like have a different experience. And so we were approached by some family friends to actually help supporting a project in Uganda. It's a primary school that we're helping. And so the first part of our long trip was actually in that school to help improve some processes, to also help establishing some new infrastructure. So that was one part of the work. Now, while we are on the road, we try to continue this work. So we have established like a website for the school. We are trying to generate some funding to be able to also help in a sustainable and more long-term way. That being said, of course, now we can't just be like traveling, and like of course traveling also requires a bit of money. So we also are thinking about and developing ourselves to be able to do some remote work. So Emma, for instance, is writing some articles for people, for companies, and this should allow us to also generate some income while we are like on the road, because traveling is not for free. So we also need to be able to generate something to be able to do this.
Can you share any lesson you have learned from a failure or mistake?
See, I think that's a really difficult question, because I think if I experience something that would be the classic failure, I think I have the mindset to see that more as a learning curve, or something that I can take something from that will help me in the future. So to be honest, I try not to categorize my achievements between failures and success. I try to always see the good, even in the hard times, in the bad parts, right? So off the top of my head, I can't really give you an example, to be honest. Sorry about that. Do you have any failures you could describe? I think you're a similar mindset to me.
Yeah, I see failures as also opportunities to grow and to learn. Maybe one kind of failure that I had in one of my previous endeavors, where I tried to set up a company, to not like put or focus all my time onto that project, because I was doing it like on the side as a side hustle. But I think had I done it more focused, maybe it would have even been more successful. So to all the entrepreneurs out there, if you have a great idea that you are passionate about and that you believe in, try it. Like, of course, maybe you might fail, but also failure is learning. But if you stick to it, if you're committed, it might be a wonderful opportunity that might be able to establish and make an own business successful.
How do you approach the problem solving in your work?
Every person every day has to do a lot of problem solving, right? Because at work and it's always problems come up and that need to be solved. I think first and foremost, you should talk to people. So if you have a problem, mostly it's related to people, like to dealing with people, to differences you might have. I think the best way is like to try to directly address the problem to those people. Because I've learned if you try to avoid the people or try to work behind their back, etc. Normally it's never successful. Eventually the problem will come back and you have to deal with it directly. So I think that's for me one of the most important, like talking, communication, be transparent, be open, be proactive. That's how you best solve your problems. Anything to add, Emma?
You have traveled many countries. In fact, you have traveled more than us, I think. You have been into a town, you have said. So how have you seen the people interacting with you? And how have you seen the people they are doing their things in those countries?
You know, I think that's what I love the most about traveling. Actually seeing how people live differently, do things differently, approach things differently. I think it's very valuable and we're very privileged to be able to do that, because I do see the value in learning different worldviews, different ways of living, different cultures. It also broadens our mind, right? And I think I have learned a lot from that. And I think, considering my background, I'm very interested in the topic of sustainability. I think when you stay in Europe and you are involved in this topic, you develop a very Eurocentric view of that, which means you are only thinking about it from the perspective of one part of the world. And what was really important for me was to get a different view. I think Africa is a wonderful place to start. I think in general, from what I have seen in Kenya and Rwanda and Uganda, the people are generally very connected to nature, and they already live in quite a sustainable way compared to most people in Europe, to be quite honest. So for me, again, seeing how other people do things broadens my mind, gives me different views. And I really hope that when I do return to Europe, that I can share those experiences. And I hope that people can also learn from that.
Mr. Dominik, what inspired you to pursue your current profession?
Okay, again, a good question. Let me think for a second. Yeah, so I did my apprenticeship, my vocational training in the area of ICT, which I still today think was a very good basis of what I'm doing now, because I love technology. I love the opportunities that come with technology. I think these days it's the world has really opened up by all the access we have to information on the internet, the tools we get now with artificial intelligence. So I'm really happy that I did my apprenticeship in that area and also stuck to it. I think the opportunities that opened up with that are just amazing. So I would recommend to everybody, if you have a chance, get into ICT, because also I think in the future it will become more and more important, and to have some IT skills, know your way around computers, and also let computers help you in your daily work, and benefit from the advantages that brings.
My name is Alexander, and I'm one of the partners. I do partner with Enrico in Radio Jaribuni. I'm the proposed director for the Radio Jaribuni. So you said, Dominik, that you are an IT expert, So we are seeing the whole world is now shifting into the internet, into everything about technology and all that. So how can you tell the young Kenyans or the young people? How can you tell them about this kind of technology change, or how the world is actually shifting from being analog to the state of now, how the world is?
Today, compared to maybe 20 years ago or 30 years ago, like so the first computers that were around, if you compare it to a smartphone today, to a simple smartphone, let's say around $100, the smartphone is 100 times more performant. So just, I think it's a very like good contrast, and if you think about this, it's just amazing how at what pace this has evolved. But then also, like I think Kenya is a very good example with, for instance, the mobile payments, right? I think it was one of the first countries in the world that actually used technology to simplify payments in general between people, especially also given that a lot of people who don't have bank accounts, etc., that before struggled to actually deal with money because the next bank would be far away, now had gotten an opportunity to actually exchange money and also trade in a very easy way. So I think it's a brilliant example. And also the advantage, I think, especially in Africa and Kenya, is that you have the possibility to be one step ahead in these kind of technologies or tools and methods, because in Europe, of course, the development of technology, etc., might have started a bit earlier, but a lot of the development was kind of slow. Let's say, so in Europe, for instance, you had to install all the telecom, internet cables, etc. That took a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of infrastructure. So now we are kind of a bit like stuck to it. And for instance, the expansion of the mobile network is taking a lot of time, right? Because still maybe in some areas in Europe, you might not have like a full phone reception. And this in Africa or in Kenya is much different, because you didn't have this step of having to install all the phone infrastructure, all the cables, but you skipped one step and directly went to the mobile communication, right? Using like phones, and like most people have a phone, and so I think there are like other examples like this where you can, through technology now, make a big step, or like have the full potential of all the possibilities in the world to create something that benefits not only Kenya but maybe also other countries.
Most of the services, maybe for us, like the Kenyans or the youth from whichever place, maybe they can be the end users, and maybe the benefit is that that service has been eased, it can be easily be available just because somebody developed that service. So now mine is, how can somebody like myself now, I venture myself into IT, so how can I be like, I will be having like some income out of now being an expert in IT, that were an IT guy,
As you know, like most businesses that are created fail. It's a matter of fact. Also in Europe, I think out of 10 companies that are started, only I think 2 or 3 companies are gonna survive 3 years and more. All the others fail. So, but I think there's no like black and white answer to this. And I think in the end, if you have a business idea or you wanna try something, just like try it. There is now these days opportunities where you, for instance, you create a website, and if you manage to create a lot of traffic on this website, so for instance by informing about a specific topic, or you offer some service on that website, and on top you're able to allow advertising to be displayed on your website. That's, for instance, one way you can generate some income. Of course, there's a huge competition. There are like millions of websites that are active and that are competing against each other. but I think it's one good way. And the good thing is, it doesn't need a lot of infrastructure and resources. You need a smartphone, and with a smartphone you can already like set up a website, and so you don't need much. So if you have a chance, try it, and try something like to make a new website or anything similar, and you will very quickly realize whether it can be successful or not, because you will get the feedback quite quickly.
How do you compare Europe now and Kenya in terms of now the culture and how people interact in Europe, and how have you been interacting, let's say, in Kenya, you see? Like for now, if I come to Europe, I see almost everybody is a white. So maybe there's that culture shock, So how did you actually compare the situation, how you interact with the people, especially right from Europe, the first day, like you landed into this country, or maybe in Uganda and Rwanda, or specific in Africa. How did you see that?
Who is your mentor? Because everybody in this world, when he raises up, he's just saying, I want to be like that person. Who is your mentor?
I think for me personally, I don't really have like one mentor that I always like looked up to and that I wanted to become. I think there were many very inspirational people on my journey. But I think most importantly also, like I think above everything, you should figure out for yourself like what you would like to achieve, and what dreams and visions you have. And I'm also of the opinion, like, of course, it's really important to have a network, and to actually benefit from the network, and to know like a lot of people that you can connect with and also learn from. I think if you surround yourself with people that also like have similar aspirations than you. For instance, also want to fund a business or something that can really help you to push yourself, to push your limits, rather than maybe if you surround yourself with people that are not so pushy, maybe they're a bit lazy. So this might also pull you down, right? And might not allow you to fulfill your or explore your full potential. So that would be my main advice in this regard.
First of all, I think it's important to mention that, just like Africa, Europe has many different countries and many different cultures. It's quite a small area, but it's very diverse. However, there are some countries that are more diverse than others. There are countries that are more welcoming than others. There are countries that are not very welcoming. So you really have a mix of it all in Europe. And I'm sure it's similar in Africa, right? I think we've been lucky enough that we've arrived in the friendliest corner of Africa so far, so East Africa. Culture shock-wise, I mean, to be honest, it wasn't that extreme for me. And I think that was because of the friendliness of the people. So Uganda, as you said, was the first country we landed in. I think the warmth that you feel from the people helps a lot. If you land in a country and people are afraid to talk to you, or people are afraid to even look at you or approach you, of course, then you feel much more isolated. So I think for a European person coming to Africa, I would recommend that they arrive somewhere like Kenya, somewhere like Uganda, where they can have this relaxed, welcoming feel into African life, I would say. And if I was to tell you where to go in Europe, I would say Ireland. We're the friendliest people.
You have talked about many achievements you have done in your life. So maybe you have come with a sad thing, and how have you overcome it?
I think it's really important that you have people around you when you are going through something difficult or something sad. I think talking about your problem and verbalizing how you feel is a therapy in itself. So having somebody that you can really discuss with, get feedback, that is how I have overcome any difficult time in my life. I think another thing I would mention is nature is very healing. I think that going for a walk every day in nature, away from everyone, away from technology, I think it helps your mind reset. And I think it brings you down a bit from your stress levels and helps you to think more rationally. Because when we are sad or we're angry or going through something difficult, we're not thinking rationally anymore. So I think it's always important to try balance again, balance your nervous system, and take care of yourself so that you can make a better decision in how to move forward. That would be the first step, I think. And you, Dominik?
Yeah, I think you mentioned some very good points, and I liked actually the last one. So never take a decision when you're like emotionally like agitated. If you're like feeling very angry about something or have a feeling that you have a problem that cannot be solved, sometimes it just helps to sleep a night over it, and then sometimes on the next day, if you're very lucky, the problem solves itself, so it just disappears. Happened to me sometimes, or then maybe the next day you have a different perspective. Maybe you have a new idea how to solve it. So don't overreact in a problem that you might be confronted with.
Nasoro Mwalim. Yeah, those are my names.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I'm a reporter at Chenda FM, so we work with this one. Okay, maybe my question might be only one. Okay, it's not like it's a question, like maybe it's a message. Maybe what message can you advise the youth in terms of jobs, you know?
Tricky question. So one statement I like, a quote by Steve Jobs. It says, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." So for me, also as I said before, I think it's important to be curious. Because there's so many like things in the world that you can learn. There's so much out there. I said like different cultures, different languages. So if you stay curious, etc., I think you will enjoy life more. And stay foolish. Yeah, like maybe you have your own ideas. Maybe other people don't like it, but still don't let yourself influence too much by other people. Because in the end, you should stick to what you like, what you are passionate about. And even if it might sound strange to other people, don't let other people interfere with your dreams, and follow your passion. That would be my statement.
I would have to speak a bit from experience. I believe that a network is very important. When you try to find a job, when you try to grow in your career, when you try to move into another area. And a person I know in Ireland, you know, Irish people, we love to talk. We love to tell people everything, all of our business, all of our personal problems. But he once said, you know, tell people your business and someone will help you. And what he meant by that is, if you have an idea, if you want something, ask for it. If you are looking for a job, tell everyone. Say, you know, that is exactly what I want to do. If you hear of something, let me know. Or if you mention it in a conversation, you know, it can be that they remember that 1 month later when they speak to someone and say, I have the person for you. So I think share what you want. You won't get anything without asking for it. Things don't just land on your table. Things are not just given to you. You have to ask. And don't be afraid to ask. You're never stupid for asking for what you want. So I would say that applies to also the job market, careers, and so on.
By the way,
Yeah?
like, you know, our country, Kenya, we are rich in cultural heritage. Okay, maybe can you try to explain for me a little bit of the cultural aspects that you have enjoyed, or maybe you are yearning to go into it and enjoy?
I think culture-wise in Kenya, I think we need to eat more Swahili food, actually. So, because it's very good. and we need to try harder to find those secret restaurants that are serving really good food and really good choma and so on, right? So for me, when I travel, I think food is a really wonderful way to experience a culture. Food is universal. Everybody has to eat, and people come together over food. People are very proud of their food. Usually cultures are very proud to show off what their cuisine includes, right? So I would say in Kenya, I really want to explore the food more. I think it will be very interesting and very exciting. Otherwise, I'm not sure. I mean, we still have to get a bit more in touch with other regions. I think we've spent some time now in the eastern part, so along the coast. So I think we still have a long way to go to get to know Kenya even better. But a good step is having these conversations with locals and yeah.
What's really amazing in Kenya, but maybe was not so, I at least was not so aware about it beforehand, is that you really have an extremely big cultural diversity, like with the 47 tribes it is, right? Yeah. Yeah, well,
I hope you're
and I mean, yeah, that's just amazing. Like also to learn and understand about the different traditions in each tribe, and also how I think it's very important that these also traditions are kept because that's a bit of an issue with like technology and globalization, etc. coming, that these things get a bit lost. But it's part of the culture, it's part of the heritage, and it's very important that this is maintained.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe what message can you share to the audiences who are looking into this? Any message?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for the warm welcome of, as Emma said, of all the places we have gotten to. It has always been a pleasure, and we appreciate the open-minded people everywhere. We really enjoy being here, and hope to see many of you on the road. Thanks a lot.
My message is something that I share often. I think it's very important to stay humble, but still aim high. And yes, it is possible to have that balance. I think never be afraid to aim high, achieve what you want, but be nice to the people around you at the same time. Don't get power hungry. It doesn't work. You don't achieve anything with that.
Okay, well, Swahili will be a bit difficult. I can only say asante sana yeah, for being here. And yeah, I really enjoyed. Ich habe es sehr genossen, hier im Radio Charibuni teilzunehmen. Herzlichen Dank und hoffentlich bis ein anderes Mal. Alles Gute.
So he said thank you very much, that he's so happy that he could take part. And yeah, delighted to be the new faces featured on Radio Jarabuni, and I can only echo the same message. Thank you.
Maybe you can say a word in Irish.
Yeah, Gora mili mahagot, agus gonairi an boherlet. That means thank you very much, and may the road rise to meet you. So no matter where your path takes you, the road will rise to take you the rest of the way.
So thanks very much. Welcome to Kenya. Welcome to Radio Jarabuni. Anytime you arrive in Kenya, we'll be host you to ask the question, and don't fail us to come.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. It was great fun.
Yeah, thanks.
My first radio show.
Wow.
Naam, hapa alikuwa ni Baraka nikiwa na host mwenzangu Enrico, na tulikuwa tuna interview nzuri na wageni wetu kutoka Switzerland. Tunashukuru sana kwa kuja. Mungu awabariki, mkue vizuri, na tunawakaribisha tena hata siku nyingine mkifika mahali hapa mje Radio Jaribuni. Na viewers wetu tunaomba mtu support, mlike, mshare, muangalie YouTube channel yetu Radio Jaribuni, na tutakuwa tuko sawa. Asanteni sana.
Now, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and share Radio Jaribuni to the world. Enrico Carissa #, Semana Enrico.